Now, what do we have here? This is kind of off topic a little bit, but what do we have here? The ability to do that 90% of society doesn't.
Seeing before they come to market.
Seeing before they come to market and buying them before they come to market and using our commission to help buy it.
Yeah,
That alone's worth your real estate license right there.
half of my deals have been before they hit the market.
Yep.
Or from this room.
Do I want to list it or do I want to buy it?
Yeah. Just identifying what you want.
Yep.
So we kind of talked about like what is your goal, right? And then Sean was saying like where are you at on that? How are you doing on that? Is this a new goal? Have you been working on it? And then how do you feel about the lack, like the distance between where you are and progress that you've been making? I think this one for me, number 4, what does the future look like if you do or you don't achieve your goal? Like I really like to focus on the future and then walk it back to today, which we'll kind of talk about. But what's it going to look like if what does life look like if you don't leave a legacy, if you don't buy a rental, if you don't, go to the gym? Okay.
I'm poor.
You're gonna be broke, ramen noodles, living in your mom's basement, and fat.
Yeah.
I do kind of follow this person that eats ramen noodles and they're Insta famous because they're like super fat
Well, that's one way to do it.
do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
All right, so I was like, scroll.
I know a lot of
You got lots of
YouTubers, but
scrolls.
I'm not that one.
All right, tell me some ahas. What is someone from the back row? You guys are asleep. I can see it.
I'll chime in. So far, we've talked about the goal, but I think it's important to talk about how we get to the goal. Because Jesse and everyone else, the person that's going to pay off buy their parents a house and their in-laws a house is not the same person that's sitting here today.
Oh, that's very accurate. Yeah.
You know, the question is who do you need to become in order to be able to do that? They're two separate people. And so with the 6 perspective, it's like putting everything in perspective so you understand what you have to do both intellectually, emotionally, and physically in order to attain your goal. So that, self-mastery, keeping a positive mindset, all that stuff. So for me, it's about who do I have to become in order to achieve those goals?
Yeah, there is a big difference between a dream and a goal. Would you guys agree? What's a dream? Leaving a legacy. Okay. Now, what makes it a goal? Having the plan, right? And then what gets you to that plan? Implementing the plan. And then what, if you were to break that down even farther, what is that? Taking action on. I'm looking for a word that starts with H.
The specific. Oh.
Ken was alluding to it without saying it. Who do I have to become? But how do you get to that person? Habits. Thank you, Mike. Your habits. Your habits will define you. If your habits are waking up and immediately going, scrolling, looking at your email before you do your other stuff, that is your current habit, right? And in order for me to, so I got a call early this morning from Blaine, and I would say his hair's on fire, but that doesn't work for Blaine. He was distraught because one of the first things he read was an email, and then he finally decided to call me. I'm like, bro, don't do your morning routine before you read that stuff, because it distracted him, and it changed his attitude towards the day. We talked about it, and after that, he's like, "Why didn't I call you 2 hours ago?" I'm like, "Because I wouldn't have answered." But in reality, you got to protect your routine. You got to protect it. You can't let the world's white noise affect your habits.
So I want to add on what Ken said. Who do you have to become? Because I think a lot of times we say, well, who do you have to become? But I give a lot of credit to Marcus on my journey to owning a lot of houses, right? And so, like, what would that person be doing? What decisions would that person be making? Like the person that you want to become that owns a lot of rentals, that works out, right? What are their choices when they go to a restaurant? What are they eating? What are their choices? Are they making coffee at home? Or are they making Starbucks runs, right? So thinking, not just like, who do I have to become, but like, what does that person's choices look like? Will help you like stay on that path and not eat the French fries
For the Roman.
or the ramen, because it has a lot of sodium.
For me, the aha moment was, who do you, like, not you and your spouse, not, you know, whatever, your family, whatever, is, what do you actually want? Like, it just kind of caught me when I read it, I was like, well, maybe I don't really know what I want, right?
And I really wish Jessica was here, because she went through this a couple years ago where she had a aha moment of like, who do I want to be? Where do I want to be in my life? And she took a step back and reassessed. And I think that more of us should take a self-reflection inward, figure out where we're at and what we want to do and what we want to accomplish.
And I think it's always changing too. You can have a plan, but you need to revise your plan. And you can have a strategy, and you need to revise your strategy. Almost every day I learn something. I'm in the business 25 years, 30 years. And sold a lot of real estate, but every day I learn something. For every day I say something, I find that I go, oh, wow. Maybe I need to say that differently next time you put in that situation and use that as a learning moment, you know, to try to refine yourself and try to become better at that. And so maybe you don't know what you want today, but you know what, as long as you continue to work towards it, you'll figure it out. And it might be ever changing. That's okay too, you know. There's a book called Failing Forward, and it's a great book because failing, often a lot of times we say to ourselves, gosh, I'm a failure, you know, and I can't do anything. I got a son that's 33 years old and still trying to figure out how to be an adult. Should have figured that out 15 years ago.
For his defense, I'm 50 something. 10 days I wonder. I'm responsible.
You know, and it's sad because, you know, sometimes it gets really down on itself to the point where as a parent you're concerned. But, you know, you just try to keep pumping him up and saying, you know what did you learn from that last failure? And what are you going to do differently going forward? And that brings hope. And to be able to recognize the difference that's needed.
Well, and along that same lines, it's important to recognize who you are and where you are now too. So like, if you don't know where you are now, you don't have a grasp on who you are now, how do you know what you need to change in order to make that growth to be where you want to be and who you are?
Yeah, awesome. Great ahas.
Yeah.
And if you don't have one, they're getting an aha. Just sit there. You want to read this?
Who wants to read this for us?
I'll read it for you guys. Self-mastery is the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you. When you commit to achieving, do you want me to go on?
Yeah, sure.
When you commit to achieving self-mastery, you know your goals, know your strengths and weaknesses, and know how to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to reach your goals.
Okay. And like we said, until you identify where you're at this moment in time towards your goals, you don't know where to start.
I'm just trying to say something, then I'll shut up. In the process of self-mastery, self-improvement, you think, you know, well, my spouse is going to be so happy because I'm increasing our income, or I'm losing weight, or I'm improving myself in some other way, or your boyfriend, or your friends, or your coworkers. But there's what's called the crab effect. You guys know what the crab effect is? If you put 6 crabs in a bucket, the crabs are going to try to climb out. What happens to the other 5 crabs that are remaining in the bucket? They try to pull the other crab that's trying to get out of the bucket back into the bucket. So you have to be mindful of the crab effect when you're improving yourself, but not everybody's going to celebrate your success. not everybody's gonna be happy with you. So you have to be prepared for that. You have to have the right mindset to say, no, I'm sorry you feel that way, you know, and just choose maybe not to associate with them or to not share your successes as openly, because there are those that are not gonna share in your success, so.
Well, learning
Yeah.
not to take that personal too,
Yeah.
because it's about them, it's not about you.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that, because sometimes these people are family.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sometimes they're
it's sometimes super delicate.
And it's tough.
Moving on.
I'll read this one. Mastery is the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you master of a subject. It's a journey, not an event. Oh, they mentioned the book, The Outliers.
Putting the pieces together. Is this gonna play? Bradley? We have, I think is this?
look at that.
Will you press the Sonos?
I think it's
Like push it anywhere. Done. That was my IT moment.
Bradley's life is just saying, oh, I'll do it myself in his head all day.
I've been with Keller Williams since 2011, been a realtor for 23 years. I'm here to speak about committing to self-mastery. You know, when you think about self-mastery, it's one of those things that, you know, reminds me of watching basketball, and you see these professional players and they shoot 3-pointers like it's nothing. And you think, oh, that's easy. But when you figure out behind the scenes, they're practicing shooting thousands of shots every day, even on weekends. And then you start to figure, you know, you do that every day, every month, every year, and you continue to do it. And you start saying, wow, why are they so good? Well, they're good because they practice and they continue to have habits around it. And they eventually master it. And I think about Steph Curry, that he's shot so many 3-pointers that it would take someone almost 7 years to catch up to the amount of 3-pointers he shot over his course of his career. So that's, to me, that's really self-mastery. That brings me to my story. I was a New Jersey State Trooper for 17 years, a dual career realtor as well, and did both at the same time for a lot of years. And I always struggled hiring admins. And I was like, why am I continuing to struggle? And I would get a resume and look at it and say, I got a gut. I think you're going to be good. And over, I kept failing at hiring an admin. And when I came to Keller Williams, they had this process called, well, at the time, Recruit Select, which I never really got into that much. But then when career visioning came, I really kind of like get into it, teach it, understand it, and I was able to participate in train the trainer for career visioning. So I was going to be one of the facilitators for career visioning. So it kind of forced me to kind of get into career visioning and to learn what it was about. And I really got attracted to the systematic approach to hiring because I never did it before. I was just hiring by resumes and gut. And as I started to teach it, I started to learn it more. And then I actually went and watched other people present it. And I was like, wow, if I really can nail this, I could probably really get good at making hires. And then if you listen to what Gary says, you know, your first 5 hires, how important they are to the success of your organization. And then, you know, who you get in business with matters. So if I can nail this, you know, I really can have a big, big life. So I started to really study it, practice it. And from administrative hires to regional directors now that I've been hiring, I've been able to really, I would say, master it by continually practicing it, doing it by myself, doing it with friends, doing it with my wife. And eventually it got to the point where I didn't need to even look at the manual. I was just doing it from being able to, because I practiced it so much. So if you think about your career, you know, what is it that you can do that actually allows you to be really good at what you do, whether it be lead gen or to be networking? You know, what strengths help you and what weaknesses kind of hold you back from being really good at it? Because I know for me, my weaknesses was I thought I can just hire with my gut. And that really wasn't the case, right? I actually needed a systematic approach to actually make the hire. So being consistent and learning how to do career visioning for me really allowed me to be really successful in my vision. So here's what I would suggest for you, my recommendation, if you want to really get good at self-mastery, right? Think about your strengths, think about your weaknesses. What is it that you do really, really well? Where is it that you maybe fall a little short? And maybe just start to really do practice it, have accountability around it, you're already taking the first step. Congratulations. I look forward to seeing you on your path to self-mastery.
Thanks for the assistance.
Okay, this is just continuation. What weaknesses might hinder you from overcoming obstacles? What obstacles can you move?
I think you missed the first page.
Oh.
What's the 3 obstacles that might hinder you from your goal?
So let's write those down. We talked about some of the stuff we shared in the room, some of the reasons that keep us from going forward.
How many, does everybody have some goals that they wrote down? Okay.
Does someone want to share what an obstacle may be towards their goal?
Time management,
Oh, yeah,
it's one of my biggest ones.
that's all of us. Yeah, that affects all of us for sure.
Discipline.
Discipline.
I added one in that I've never added in before, but mindset.
I think it's
like little.
lots of limiting beliefs stop people from even trying.
Yeah, limiting beliefs.
So what are you gonna do to have a better mindset? When you say that that's an obstacle, what steps to mastering your mindset are you gonna take that will like lead you towards that goal?
Just recently, it's kind of long, but just recently I was holding on to a lot of guilt for not making daily calls. And I was letting that like, kind of like, oh, you messed up today, you messed up today, you messed up today. Instead of saying, okay, what will I actually do to move the needle forward rather than just feeling guilty for not doing the things that I perceive as should be done. If that makes sense. So like making my systems work better for me, how I work. You know, it goes back to like what I was saying, how you have to know where you're at and who you are to know what you need to change and how you need to grow and what systems you need to implement. So like that's something just recently letting go of that guilt related to that so that my mind is clear to like when I do have the moment where I'm like, oh, I need to talk to somebody. They just popped into my head. I'd like to talk to them. Like there's a great opportunity to make a genuine connection in a call that I might not have had before because I was like, oh, they're not on the list today. So, again, that's kind of sounds like I'm getting out of calls. That's not my goal, but letting go of the guilt that is bringing my mindset down.
Yeah, well, your passion to talking to them, it's not gonna be as great if you're thinking, oh, I was supposed to call Julie and I didn't. Now I'm gonna call you, but I really should have called Julie yesterday.
Yeah.
If you just let that go, yeah. Anybody else in the room? Besides the second row? Jesse's holding it down for a
Took
second.
around 10 minutes today. I'm doing pretty good. I'll contribute.
Then I'll
I
speak.
think when we're implementing new goals and stuff and doing things that we've never done before, we also have to give ourselves a little bit of grace because it's like you're not going to scold a child for learning to take their first step, right? So you need to also give yourself grace. Like, I've never been here before. I'm learning something new for the first time, and just give yourself props and, you know, really like be proud of yourself in those moments. Because I think a lot of people give props to others, but how often do you give props to your own self? You know?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. You use the analogy of baby, like they take their first couple steps and then in time it's a couple more and a couple more. And so you got to remember that, hey, I'm taking steps that are relevant towards hitting my goals. So,
The analogy I always, when you talk about a baby, you would never tell a baby not, like they failed 3 times. You wouldn't tell them to stop trying. You keep encouraging them to keep trying, right? can you imagine if you failed, you made 2 calls or 3 calls or whatever, I'm like, yeah, you're just not good at making calls. But we get in that mindset, it's like, oh, I messed up. But if you were the baby trying to walk, you'd be like, come on,
You'd be like, good job,
Yeah.
you're doing it, you know?
yeah, you
Well,
made it a half a step instead of, yeah.
just along that same lines, a lot of it is fear-based too, because I'm like, I'm gonna call them, it's gonna be like on my call log time, I'm gonna be thinking business is not a genuine call because I genuinely care about them, it's because it's. And that will get in my head too, and make the call weird and awkward. So that's where it's like, okay, if I set up my system a little bit differently, I can help get rid of that anxiety and that stress and that guilt, and then the call is gonna be more genuine. And the point is to make a connection with someone and have a real genuine connection with them rather than just checking them off my call list.
Thanks for sharing. Interesting.
You skip that one. Okay, well, I guess that we're switching into the second one, the 80-20 principle. Any other ahas, did we skip the slide that you want to talk about with self-mastery? Anything that you wrote down that you want to now take a relevant step, doing something different?
Keeping track of your numbers. So I think that's again, going back to where you know you're at. If you keep track of your numbers, you can do an audit, you can see what areas you still need to work on, and then you can move realistically with your education towards fixing those areas. Or editing your system.
And you can also see how much better you were than you were 6 months ago or a year ago, right?
Yes.
Like sometimes we're too hard on ourselves. We didn't do the calls. But if 6 months ago you weren't making any calls and you made 2, even if they bombed, you're still like,
Still
Yeah.
progress. Well, if you want to tie it back to working out, each week you're looking at your weight each week and it's like a half a pound or a pound that you're losing. But then you get to the end of 6 months and you look back and you're like, holy crap, that was 25 pounds. I lost 25 pounds. So sometimes taking that look back, that audit is helpful to take that look back and see that
anybody else? Third row, come on, except the anchor there.
Well, I do have one more thing to say,
Okay,
sorry, I
you
have
go.
so many things to say all the time. I think what Bradley talked about last week too, the I am stuff really plays into this and everything you do, you know, it's, that mindset and stuff, but if you start telling yourself like, I acquire rental properties, I'm taking my family on a vacation this year, it's gonna help you walk into your goals and get your systems down better, rather than just focusing on the goal because you're becoming that person, you know? Where focus goes, energy flows, don't forget that.
Okay, I think for me, I got in the habit a couple of years ago of just writing down, like every day I write down what I'm grateful for, just gratitude, I think, kind of helps keep you, because sometimes I forget, you know. I was looking back at it years ago, I needed to pay for my son, it was driver's ed, with like $400 and my ex wouldn't pay it and his dad wouldn't pay it and it was COVID. And so I didn't have it. And so I just remembered I wrote down that experience. Like I didn't know what I was gonna do. And then one of the neighbor girls or something came by and she was like, oh, it was hair. I had done her hair. She's like, oh, I forgot to pay you for hair or something. And it was exactly that money that I needed for my son's driver's ed or something. And so, when you write things down and you're grateful, I think that keeps a positive, keeps your head better, in a better spot, because it's easy to get discouraged, but it's so better. It's just great to reflect back and to reread it and just go, wow, you know, look at all those blessings. I mean, you should have seen how quickly I filled up pages of gratitude. I was like, oh, there's one more or something, but I think that helps too. And it helps you achieve your goals and where you want to be and things you want to change in your life to keep moving forward in a good way.
Interesting. I think being specific, you needed that $400.
Yeah.
And so we talked about this before, but like you need something magically, if you've defined it, you found that $400.
Yeah.
If it's a legacy, if it's paying off debt, if it's getting a rent, like getting Sean working out, right? Like, when we identify it, we bring all this energy towards it, and magically,
Yeah.
you know, for me, I set this goal as buying a rental, and Marcus and I got together and we set this goal. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna get to 7. And then I was at a listing appointment, and they're like, do you have any options? And I'm like, I'll buy it. And they're like, really? And I, sure, right? And had I not sat down with him, like, I give him credit, and he's like, dude, you're the one that did the work, but like, had I not set the goal to say, I'm gonna do this, I just would have let that pass, and maybe that gal paying you money wouldn't have showed up, right? All right, 80-20.
What is the 80-20 principle?
feel like 20% of people produce 80% of the results.
20% of the activities producing percent.
I think we talk about this a lot. I talked about this to a friend, and then in my BNI group, my friend had no idea what this was. And my BNI group, my network group really didn't either. And it's crazy that like we focus on this stuff and other people don't, like it's not even in their realm. But yeah, it's that 20% of anything gets 80% of the results, and vice versa. You're doing 80% of something, and that's only giving you 20% of those results, right? Who's read this book? Anybody?
I read it with my ears.
Is it good? Video walk. You don't have a hall pass. Sorry.
And I've been with Keller Williams since 2019, and I've been in the real estate industry my entire life. And I'm so excited that you're here today to learn about one of my favorite perspectives, that 80-20 rule. This is one of my favorite perspectives out of the 6 perspectives, because it basically helps you as an agent, as a leader, move from where you are to where you want to be faster, to collapse those time frames down. What it basically says is that 20% of your activities are going to generate 80% of your results. I've lived by this perspective since I was a kid. I grew up playing basketball. In fact, I was horrible at basketball 6th and 7th grade. I made a decision I wanted to be good, and I got the Pete Maravich Pistol Pete basketball tape. And every morning I would do my dribbling drill, I would do my passing drill, defense drill, the skills to help me become a better player. I'd shoot 1,000 shots every single day, 500 free throws every single day. And from my 7th grade to my 8th grade year, I became a much better player. My 8th grade year to my freshman year, I became a starter on the varsity team. Then I started thinking about playing at the collegiate level. And I knew that I wasn't the most talented player, but if I wanted to have the opportunity to play at the collegiate level, I had to really hone in on what were the things that mattered most to helping me become a better player. And it was mastering the fundamentals, doing the drills over and over and over and over again until I mastered it. Then I got into the real estate business. My mother's been an agent for 52 years, and she taught me, Jonathan, if you focus on listing, you will make more money than other agents who focus solely on buyers. So I made the bulk of my activity to generate leads to get listings. And as a result, I was able to build a successful real estate career. You know, I remember as a new team leader walking through our market center, and I saw one of our agents who was newer, and they were working so hard at creating all these forms. And I stopped and I said, what do you do? He said, I'm making all these forms that will help me with my clients. I told him those forms already existed, and he was wasting his time on the 80% activities that generated 20% of his results. I'll never forget when he finally realized he spent his time devoted to lead generating, to get listings, to write contracts, to close deals so that he can make money. He finally understood about prioritizing his business and focusing on what matters most so that he could end up building the desired and that he desired. And he still brings that conversation up. That was a shift for him when he realized he was avoiding doing what he knew he should do most to grow his business, so that he still felt productive by creating those forms. See, as an agent, or you look at as a leader, anywhere in your life, you have to determine what are the levers that I can pull, not the time frame to get the result that I desire. Those 20% activities, gaining clarity. So what matters most for you in your business and in real estate, we know is lead generate, to get appointments, to get listings, to have a right contract, to have closings, to make money. I'm so excited that you're about to learn about this perspective. I can't wait to implement it. And one thing I want to leave you with is the speed of growth in your business will always be determined by the speed of implementation. How quickly you take these perspectives that you're learning about today and apply them to your personal life and to your business. I can't wait to see how far you go and how much you grow by implementing these perspectives and strategies into your business and your personal life. So let's get ready to learn.
Okay, awesome. Anything anyone wants to share from what they just saw?
Just think about practical applications. So something that we've done is you go through all of your transactions and you write down where they came from. Sphere of influence, social media, was it referrals? Like, how did it get to you? And if you look at it, usually the 80-20 still goes through that same way. You've got 80% of your business comes from the top 20% of the actions that you're doing with your lead generation. So like if you focus and expand like that top number of where they came from.
Yeah, sometimes we forget. So your yearly market trend report can show your business over a duration of time, right? Breaks it down per the total. And sometimes you have to look at that and go, hey, this address, this was the Johnsons, this one was the Smiths, this one was the Martinez's. Then where did these come from? Well, these ones came from open house. This one came from a referral, and then you can help break down where your business is coming from. Therefore, you focus on the activities that's giving you and generating you the business.
You should be looking at, did my business come from, and are you spending the appropriate amount of time in that space?
It usually comes for this 20% activity out of all of the activity that you're doing.
Yeah, like would you go talk to a client or would you make the form, right? If you had two options, all of us would say, oh, let's talk to the referral, because that's clearly the right path. But in the moment we like make the form and think that we're doing the right thing. But if we define like what's the 20% that's gonna make 80% of the money, that's doing these activities that
be consistent with the activity,
yeah.
and then you can get the result. For me, my business come more for the reference, and then I try to meet more people every day. You know, so I go into the business. They know I speak Spanish, and when they have the people travel, they say, "Hey, Francie, I have a client here for you," and I be there often 2 or 3 weeks, and then I try to be connected to them.
Yeah. Because that's your 20% activity,
Yes.
right?
How I
That's
get my
you've
business
identified
already.
that.
I do a lot. I do marketing, but I don't see the result of marketing, and also I have everything. I know a lot of people know me from the marketing, but I get more business from the reference.
And this 80% stuff, a lot of it has to be done. In fact, there's a big part of it that has to be accomplished. But you find someone else to help you with it and don't spend 80% of your time doing it.
Leverage.
You have leverage.
When we were focused on the 20%, we'll get the 80% of the results we want. We kind of talked about that. Anybody else have anything else to say? So yeah, like what are the 20% that you guys are focusing on? Shout it out. What's your 20% people?
Shout it out in relation to what you wrote down as your 3 things that you want to accomplish.
But first we're,
Well, I missed the beginning, but
Yeah.
I know where you're going with this, but like, so we do really well at open houses. And you don't always see the results right away. We were just talking about that on the way here. We have a bunch of stuff from Jason's activity last year that's like hitting right now, but it's taken time, right, to cultivate. But, and as you were talking about, I also think of like when we go to like family reunion or mega camp, and I like sometimes I just think like, oh my gosh, I want to do all these things, but really I have to concentrate on what am I really good at and implement those 1 or 2 golden nuggets that I learned, and instead of trying to do 17 nuggets, do 2. Do you know what I mean? On the things that I'm already good at.
what are you actually going to?
In open houses, we're going to work with or focus on our follow-up.
Well, I meant when you go to a family reunion, you hear all these great ideas,
Right,
and they are great ideas. But they're only great ideas for you if you're actually gonna do those things,
yeah.
so.
I think with this too, once you identify your 20% is really sticking to it, right? Because sometimes it's more comfortable sitting in the 80% stuff.
Oh, it always is.
And, basically, like my coach said to me a while ago, but essentially was like, if you're so focused on the results from the things that you're supposed to be doing in your 20%, the 80% is gonna have to figure out a way to take care of itself. Otherwise, you will always get pulled back into the 80%. So this is where like the AI class will show me, like, how can you leverage some of those things? What are you doing that really is not income producing activity? Because a lot of people are like, well, I don't have money to pay somebody. Well, you could start out really easy. That's a big piece of leverage for you that you don't even have to pay for it. Right? But there's so many people that hold so tight onto that. I think it's a comfortable piece. I want to say it gives us some comfortable things to do to act, to feel as if we're busy, when really that's not where our 20% time, that's not where we should be spending most of our time.
I think for me, I've been trying to work on this more this year. And when you first transition, it's a little bit weird. You've got these 80 activities out of 100 that just aren't getting done. You're going like, oh shoot, I can get these done, but I just kind of let them sit there and not do anything. For me, I've been like, okay, well, these are like emails I complete. These weren't important. Some people haven't followed back up with me. So it's not things that, like, it's just a little bit chaotic at first, and you have to kind of learn to live in the chaos where, you know, I don't need to do these 80 things on my task list right now. They can just sit there and I kind of get used to them staring me in the face and saying, hey, I want to get done. But I just need to kind of realize and been working on going, this can be done later. I need to focus on the thing that matters right now.
And this is where it ties in a couple of things that were mentioned earlier. I think it was Jess that mentioned the time management. That's where it becomes, okay, now I need to now living in the chaos. I got to manage my time better. Therefore, I know I got to do X, Y, Z of those 80%. So I'm going to do it during this time and only during this time, not have it be your whole day. And that's the self-mastery part of it,
So.
growing down.
Like, I don't let myself dick around in, like command for business stuff, but like I like organizing my expenses and putting my stuff into my accounting software. But that's not something that I need to be dicking around during the workday with. That's if you want to waste time before you go to bed activity.
Well, that's probably the worst thing.
Probably, but I like doing it. It's kind of relaxing in its way,
Oh my
so.
gosh. Hey, you're a different
That's
person.
how I do it. That's why I get spotlight. Like, I like putting these stuff together for pop.
Yeah, see, when you said that, there were several people in the room that like,
I know, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a heart attack. That's the thing I hate the most.
No, but I like it enough that I will spend a ridiculous amount of time dicking around doing that when it really is not gonna, that's not gonna make me money. That's admin stuff, so.
Okay, who's read the One Thing book? Well, that's a lot of hands. Awesome, you guys.
who's read it more than once?
It's right up there.
It is such a great read, and it's not necessarily real estate related, it's life related. So when you read it, put it on your to-do list if you don't mind. It's a great book that gives you a different perspective of life, for sure. So this is from the One Thing. I can't read it from here because of the glare.
Run a marathon is the goal. So it looks like they wrote down the things they have to do: work on diet plan, work on hydration plan, select a strength program, select a running regimen, and find a compatible running group. And so doing the one thing, like what's the one thing that is gonna help this person be a better runner?
One thing that's gonna have the largest impact.
Yeah. So selecting a running regimen. So if you didn't do the other 4 things, if you went running on your regiment, you'd probably still be a better marathon runner, right? And then you take that one thing and you put it over here. Okay, how am I gonna get that done? I'm gonna join a 5K, practice on hills, I'm gonna time block, I'm gonna check some equipment, maybe I need new shoes, practice. What's the one thing to make sure that I do this thing? I'm gonna make time on my schedule, right? And then you just keep going down. The one thing to time block, coordinate with an experienced runner. So. Anybody have any comments on that?
What is I always get it wrong, but like imperfect actions better than no action.
Yeah, like for me, it's a social post, like I don't wanna post it. Or I don't wanna post something that I don't think is like perfect, so then I just don't post it. And then I get no activity from the no post that I didn't make. I should have just posted the thing to get something versus nothing.
That's what I'm holding on to right now. Done is better than perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said that to my husband. He was like, that doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, the whole phrase is, you know, imperfectly done is better than perfectly undone. Not that.
So write down your goal from page 13, like one of your goals from page 13. List as many things that you can think of that you are doing, could be doing to make this goal a reality. Anybody want to share one of their goals? I know we've asked a couple times, but somebody that hasn't shared today while everyone else is writing. Sean, what's one of your goals this year?
Mine is to be more proficient on deciding what I'm gonna make money on versus not, as far as the homes go. I screwed that up a handful of times, it's 25. Can't repeat the mistake.
Yeah. So then you would list all the things you could, either what you are doing or what you could be doing under that, right? So has everybody got a list of a few items? So what's the one item that you wrote down that's gonna have the biggest impact on that goal?
Mine is to buy my own house. I want to have my own house and so yeah, I'm busting my butt trying to pass my state test and start selling houses, and I have a good drive underneath me just because I'm so excited, and I've never had my own money. I've had my husband's money, and so I'm now it's me, and I'm focusing on me, and so I'm excited. I just have this, I'm so excited to get started and just have something for myself, you know? My life's been beautiful and there's been blessings in it, but man, I kind of I don't know, I just have kind of put myself, I'm like, oh, that's okay, and it wasn't, I don't know. I'll just share something. My ex, he would take away my only credit card and hide my car keys from me, and I will never be in that situation again where I have no money and no way to get around. And so like, I'm excited for what a blessing that I got away from him. And I have 50 years now to create my life. And that's my big thing, is to just never have to not have even a couple dollars to my name or to buy a home, and just so I did that. I created that myself, you know, and so.
So is the goal to buy a house or is the goal to be financial? And it could be one of the same, but
Yeah.
be financially independent, right?
Nice together, like family, of course, is at the top, spending time with family
Right.
and taking care of them, and my friends, and then just selling houses. I want to sell a ton of houses, and I want to decorate houses. I'm good at decorating, and I want to create a staging company. And
So what's the one thing off this list? You want to buy a house?
uh-huh.
What's the one thing that's gonna help you achieve that more than what you what you've been doing in the past?
Just, well, getting my state license, like actually becoming licensed and
Yeah.
being able to start my career, you know what I mean? And
Sell your first home.
I know,
Get
so like,
commission,
yeah,
get
so
commission.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be
But
awesome.
the first thing is before, yeah, before you can sell a home, before you can make money, before you can
Yeah.
save money. Comes all the way back to,
Yeah.
if I don't pass this test,
Yeah.
I don't have a job, which means I
Yeah.
can't do all these things, right?
Yep, yep.
Then once you get the test passed, then you say, okay, what's the next? Thing?
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Anybody else? Thanks for those of you that are sharing, and those of you who are not sharing, like Jason. I'm really-
Yeah, we're running out of time.
I need some power.
You'd be like,
Yeah.
give me your answer.
Does anyone use a 411? Does anyone not know what a 411 is?
I don't know what a 411.
You wanna break it down?
Sure. So you have a goal for the year. I want to make $200,000, right? So that's your goal. And then every month you have, so you have this month, and then there's 4 weeks in the month. So I guess you guys could stop me if I'm explaining wrong, but this is how I
So
think
far,
about it. But what are you gonna do this week that will help you achieve your monthly goal, that will help you achieve your yearly goal? So.
Right.
Huh?
4 weeks. What's the month? When we get
4 weeks, 1 month, 1 goal,
Yeah,
1
yeah.
year, right? So just, it's. I think of it like, okay, I'm starting with the goal, I wanna be fit. What do I have to do this month to make sure that I'm gonna be, like, I wanna do this, I wanna buy a house, so. I'm gonna get my license this month. I'm gonna get my first client this month, and so every month, you're doing a new 411. Saying, okay, what's the one thing this month that is going to move the biggest rock to my goal? What's the one thing this month that's gonna help me buy a rental at the end of the year? And then dial it all the way back. Okay, what's the one thing this week? That if I do this week, I'm gonna get my monthly goal.
Does anyone here know football? Everyone know football? How football works? You got 4 plays to do what? Get a first down. Okay, so let's say our goal is to get a touchdown. Justin's the end zone. What play do I have to call? What play do I have to run effectively in order to move forward? So think of it that way. So you break it down, okay, now it's second down. What play do I have to do in order to call to move forward, right? So think of those as the different months to help move the rock down the field. It's pretty simple when you look at that.
I'm interested.
We got spreadsheets to drop stuff into that make it super, super simple.
Yeah, if you've never done one, we've talked about it, I've been here for a while, and I just started one, when Tim was here. And it was, even though I didn't do perfect action on it, I was writing it down, and I was like, that much closer to achieving things, because I wrote it down, I was like, okay, what's my plan, what's my big rock?
Keeps the big picture into little pictures, little steps, and makes it identifiable.
And you can do a 401 on your business, you can do another one on your health, you can do another one on your personal finances, you can do multiple on your relationship, right? Like what's gonna make the relationship better.
Yeah.
We have a spreadsheet that has all.
Again, just for time's sake. this
Are
is
we out of
like-
time?
Yeah.
Look, watch this, Rusty, look, boom, we're done.
But anyway, the personal, you'll do business goals, but also personal goals within your 411, so it's all in one sheet.
Yeah,
So this is the old school written one, but we have a spreadsheet that has this all down so you can type it.
People think there's never enough time to be successful, but there is when you time block it. So, habits to be successful, we talked about this during Bradley class, be consistent with the habit. Thoughtful and purposeful about the items you list on your calendar. Always time block for the big rocks, your 20%. If you ease, you must erase. If you erase, you must replace. I have a hard time with that one.
Yeah.
Time blocking your 20%. This is what made a big difference for me is I wrote it down, so then I had to put those big rocks on there. To where I wasn't making the spreadsheets or the forms or the categorizing things. So what's your 20% on, like, what's your big rocks on to get to your goal, going in 411? The role doesn't know your purpose and priorities and isn't responsible for them. Take it away, Sean.
So, in order, when you time block, when you're doing certain things, let's refer to cold calling. You gotta build a bunker, right? And you gotta have what you need in that room, so you don't have to like, oh, I need to go get a pen and a piece of paper. I need to go get some water, right? Sweep for minds, what would that be, something covering?
So, yeah, notifications.
Yeah, putting a notification up so you're not getting interrupted, putting a sign on your door, something to that effect. And then get the support. So like if you're gonna be cold calling in a certain room at home, it's tell your significant other or whatever, put your dog in their kennel and whatever you gotta do, get support so you can get that done.
Anybody have some ahas, or who has? Julie.
Yeah.
I think it's just, it's been a while since I really identified what's the 20% besides prospecting and, the obvious stuff. I think it's probably time to take a look at the calendar. And I also really liked what they said, just don't put stuff on your calendar if you're not gonna do it, because I think that just makes it kind of worse. That's something that I have to make sure I do. I think I could put like my hopes and dreams on my calendar. And it's just gonna happen.
Yeah, when I was preparing for this, I was like, well, yeah, it's easy to say, oh, it's time blocking or it's prospecting, right? And you can talk to more people. But then like, what you're supposed to be doing. But then like, why am I not doing these things? And who, like, not just like I'm a prospect, but who are the top prospects that if I got these 2 people contacted today or these 5 people contacted today, would move the. Anybody else?
I had debt-free was one of mine, and just kind of breaking down the things to get there. Making my income predictable would be one of the biggest things to get me there. So how do I make my income predictable lead generation?
Yeah.
No more roller coaster.
And what happens if you get on a roller coaster? You just get off and you get back to the plane. I think that's all we
The
have.
part where the roller coaster's fun.
Is Parrish here?
Yeah, she is.
There's Parrish.
Bro, did I say that there?
No, you gotta come up front.
I gotta get up there.
When you walked in, I was like, I don't recognize him as a beach, but like, we're always welcoming.
No, I've never been here as an agent.
Yeah.
Good class. One of the things I enjoy when I come here a lot of times is the CE class.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of self-help stuff in here. You guys are picking up a lot of self-help stuff. I love this self-help stuff.
It's a little woo-woo first start. You're like, really? Okay.
There's Kool-Aid in the back if you want to.
Yeah.
No, you're here for like a year and you're like, yeah, we can do all this. We got this.
Yeah. I like it. I'm totally into that. The book where I think you had a quote in there. It was around the one thing, imagine, what's the one thing that you can do so that by doing it, it will eliminate the other things that are in there. I'm not
unnecessary.
the unnecessary and that was from the One Thing book. Yeah. And he has a whole coaching program that
Do they?
He
They have a
does,
they have a
yeah.
podcast.
He's actually co-authored a few books and stuff as well. So if you guys get into, some good stuff, get into it. So I'm Parrish with Your Inspection Pros. I've been at this for 19 years, going on 20 years. I've done just about 8,000 home inspections, so I've done one or two here or there. And that's one of the things that's probably separates me from some other people is, well, we got the experience, other people have that experience. We do free radon testing while we're there at the home. So while we're doing the inspection, we want to give your clients information on radon by doing an actual test there. Now, we're not radon mitigators, so we can do like a 2-hour test. If you're a radon mitigation company, there's protocols you have to follow. You have to do a 48-hour test, okay? But you, as an agent, are allowed to do a radon test. If you're going to be at a house for, a couple hours, you can just set up a radon monitor and do your own test. So that 48-hour rule just applies to people who are licensed, to do that. Okay, so home inspectors, and this all may change. So I think in like 6 months or so, I called the Department of Public Licensing. They were supposed to, home inspectors is supposed to get licensed for this year for the first time ever. So here, so it's like, hey, we'll be licensed like you guys in these transactions. So, but I called them and they said that it does say that, but they don't actually have the licenses. They don't have the requirements yet. Maybe in about 3 to 4 months, we're going to get licensed, and I'm already there. I'm looking forward to it. I've done a lot of the stuff that what's that? That they'll require. So I'm excited about that whole process.
Where do you cover?
What-
Where are you guys?
Fremont to.
Oh, I go everywhere. Yeah, I go everywhere. I have an electric car, so I go everywhere. Yeah, I have been all the way down to Moab. I have been all the way up to Logan. I go past Grantsville. I've been to Heber up there, so all over the place. When it does get down to like Moab, we start, you got to start thinking about a travel fee.
Yeah.
Really, anything outside of an hour, I start, adding a travel
Do
fee.
you
to that.
have a crew of people, or is it just you?
It's me mainly. I do have a guy that kind of works up in this area. He's 60 years old, been working in construction a very long time, has a lot of construction experience. I have been training him for about a year now. If I've been working with anybody, with a real estate agent for a long period of time, I don't just, they're not just going to meet him one day. Say, oh, where's Parrish at? I like to integrate that person with the agent over about a 2-year period, so that you as the agent can get very, very comfortable with this additional person. And it'll be that way for any future inspectors as well. It's going to be it's a long transition time. So I want to make sure that these guys are, fully trained and capable and good communicators and certified before they're actually on their own. We also, so we do the radon testing, we do the infrared scans, we do 90-day home, we do a 90-day home warranty, and we do a sewer guard. So part of the 90-day warranty, we do a sewer guard. Okay, so this is cool. If we do a sewer line inspection and we have a video when we say that sewer line is good, there is a warranty on that sewer line for an additional 6 months. Okay, so that's kind of cool. We do the mold safe. So this is a mold chemical treatment coverage up to $2,000 with a deductible 90 days after the inspection. Okay, so we're going to help clients if they move in. What is this growing here? And it wasn't anything we saw. 5-year roof warranty is part of it as well. So they're going to get a 5-year roof warranty. And like I said, the 90-day warranty, they're going to get the recall check. So if there's any recalls on the appliances, they'll be alerted to that fact as well. And a concierge service. So if they want help setting up their utilities, things like that, they want to know who the most competitive people are for different services. we set them up with that as well. Okay, so anyway,
You wanna stick around if anyone has questions?
I will.
Thanks.
Yes.
Hey, thanks you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Like 8 days of the
Security.
You're right now. It's going down. I was like.
Oh my God.
I started early. Go, but.
It is slim. It's slim.
I was feeling, I love, good positive December. I was like, no, you're very sad. I'm gonna get back.
I've been all.
You wake up like every day. Then I like here, they would go. Yeah, I'm running.
We get time to get like.
Yeah, 50 miles.
No.
Are you doing?
Yeah, we're gonna get scared.
You don't need to.
He's pretty fit. I was like, it's too there.
He wants to do section of it. He'll probably try. Yeah.
Like up here.
I feel like this is-
I'm waiting.
When you're the second time.
Yeah. I only been 3 times.
Yeah, great. It was known about on Sunday.
Yeah.
It was just wasn't a problem.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
But yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Got a rip it.
Like the morning, first hour is good.
Yeah.
We'll make it like.
We're there at like, yeah, 8:30, and we're out, some other friends.
We were up because of that.
Yeah.
Difficult
bro.
Are you the fire station or?
There's some bigger should know about that.
We run, but she's the only.
Okay.
Someone's good.
Okay.
Oh, how are you?
Good, how are you?
So good.
Not the-
Yeah, I know.
not you.
But, okay. Yeah, there's.
So.
So
Yeah.
I just started my 8th year, right? And then my husband got like. So I,
I'm in the quarter here now.
4 years. And then,
And.
yeah.
I did.
I'm really busy, I'm like, I need help.
Are there ways that I now? That's like.
Biggest panel.
Yeah.
We can find it.
Oh, I've been out there.
We caught several people.
Yeah. Right, but this job, we did.
Yeah, we caught somebody. Yeah, he did it full time.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
You guys will love the software.
Really?
Have you ever got anybody about?
All the time.
Yeah, right? So agents get repair price. Too.
Great.
But on the night affiliated, they give you guys the ability to create it. So if you
But
get
we're gonna do that.
instead of you don't have there, don't yeah, and you can put in your dollar amount there, we lost $300. You guys need like actual, you'll get an email from this repair.
Okay.
It-
Yeah, it'll go good.
They're gonna,
You want to be
they're all in the concrete.
Okay.
Now,
You guys get free.
Okay. Okay. And everything.
For action.
Right. Andrew, we're kind of for progress with. You know.
Because
Okay. Yeah, but it's like,
I think it really.
Maybe we bonded, that's what it was. We bonded.
Hold on. They might not have funding.
Yeah.
Wait.
you just keep waiting.
I'm not back in 5 minutes.
Have a good one.
You're worth it? Wow. We weren't talking.
Oh.
about
So what are you doing on the?
I'm a sales rep, but also an escrow officer, so I'm just covering for our escrow officer here on closing.
Okay.
Well, to be good, I don't do closing that much anymore, but I love it.
Don't mess up. Anything could not go worse on the side.
It'll go good.
Well, best thing is.
My expertise.
Yeah.
No, it's really fine. It was just, they wanted.
Sorry.
Yeah.
After you've shown them like 200 more.
Well, so
I'll leave your list.
listed the house, went on the contract. They'd already picked that house in the contract. And canceled the purchase. So since we're canceling the purchase, I'm canceling the listing. Hey, you guys really want to close? Do we want a house?
So is this the deal you guys are putting together right now?
Tomorrow.
Okay, so you were able to get them to think about the numbers.
They knew.
Yeah.
Very.
It sounds like more of like a capoeira type dance.
What?
No more, or yeah, there was more than a reason somehow, and then. And when people start talking and they actually don't have the knowledge, like that's really. Because people hope, you know.
I've seen agents do
Yeah,
that.
no, you're working too hard for, you
Yeah.
know.
It's like, contract's contract.
right? Yeah.
I think she.
No, there's a commitment there.
I think she
Should be.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about I-
A lot of people have that personality that are gonna push so hard just to see if someone's gonna meet them. Like, are you gonna meet me here where I'm pushing you? Like,
You did that.
you know,
On the-
and then they'll reflect you when you start pushing back and they'll be like, oh, you know, like.
She did that. on-
Manipulable, no.
The person that I am pulling out of. She said, well, let's just do the cell will give us some purchase. So I go and go back and we get all this stuff. You're like. $1,500 for out of this way. And, but it was, a lot of that was like, oh, I just wanted to.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And that was like another, yeah, I'm not. Like, very good.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, now you learn that personality,
people-
right? So now you can just meet them where they are,
Yeah, but
matched up.
it's tough, like sometimes, he's like, thank you so much for your help and support. And really appreciate
So
it."
you're in that situation.
And then other times, I'm like, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that. And I'm like,
She probably just got off a mediation call, and so she's like, I mean,
and, but sometimes you gotta.
you know, right? I can't take it. You go, okay, they'll take it.
Oh, you are getting your commission. People think, oh, these guys get paid too much. You should hear some stories.
It's.
Hi, would you wanna do it?
Yeah. You want to do this part?
I do.
Take our one from you. Thank you.
Yeah. So you do escrow, so you're
Yeah, I kind of want to throw it though.
title,
I'm self
So you're-
now for.
okay, so you have your license as well.
Yeah. Mhm.
Wow,
Yeah, I've
you're-
been licensed escrow officer for, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Worked for, working for probably like 5 years.
Okay.
As a branch operations manager.
That's really helping you to be a really. And you know, like, what the next steps are.
Yeah, and it's nice because I can talk to people about what problems they're having and solve them with them when I'm there, instead of being like, oh, they have grown or figure this out, you know, so it
Yeah,
helps to just, I like things like this.
well, and
Yeah.
in sales, you're gonna know which, like, okay, there's this type of one coming up, there's this type of one, this type of one. Oh, you qualify, because you're this, you qualify for this, look into this type, yeah.
And there's a lot of things that
Yeah.
I've seen in clothes that sales reps maybe don't know exist, you know, because I've done people work part of it and it's not typical sales
Yeah.
people, so.
Yeah. Which do you like more, agent side, the,
I really love the freedom of sale. I love it a lot. For my 3 months and it was totally new. This, this, and yeah.
they didn't. Agents. Need. You.
You know. But it's business for everybody, if we support each other, it's like everything. You know. So. it just
Not
feels like
everybody
it's
has
so-
that.
But,
That mindset.
but as far as an eight, like it's different for me, being
Yeah,
like.
so have you-
Title, because it's still title and escrow that I'm doing, so there's no conflict for me, you know. But I would see agents and so. I wanted to get in my things, but
So I had-
he knows
I had to get
more
rid of
than
my
me,
stuff
you know?
with it.
Yeah. Nice. How's that going?
It's going a lot better,
Good. How
yeah,
long have you been doing this?
19 years,
Oh. Cool.
yeah, but
Very-
not like, it's been like all in and committed to,
Okay. Mhm.
been doing, I've done 8,000 inspections. But always had like sites,
Yeah,
you know.
the
Those,
American way.
those just kill you. You know,
You can put all your books.
he is eventually just picking one thing.
Mhm.
in putting all your eggs in one basket. Most dominant player.
Right.
Because then your attention is like with these other people. That's what was killing me at times. Because I had to get-
when you're pulled in any direction.
Oh, yeah, because if I'm over here doing this, but I've got a competitor, all they're doing is this one thing. I mean, they're just gonna get better. Than
Yeah,
They're gonna add systems and they're gonna add software and they're gonna do this, that, and they're gonna be steadily improving.
Yeah.
A lot of trial and error there, while I'm doing this over here,
yeah.
and I'm trying to
Actually, they're
improve
working
it, collecting this.
Invest in one thing, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I've been committed to this now, 3 years.
Have you seen
I've
a
seen-
big
oh,
shift
yeah,
in
yeah, I
community
like,
everything else?
for the first time. No one.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, okay, I didn't do as good this month as I did last year, I'm doing it now, and I did this month. My tax strategies have gotten better.
Uh-huh.
you know.
Yeah.
I'm reading, like, I read this book called Profit First. You ever get a chance to read that book?
Okay,
Profit
Yeah.
First.
okay.
Book.
Yeah, I love all of them.
Profit First.
Okay.
It helped me to, now I can allocate. So I used to always wonder, it's like, I do my taxes, you know. And I hated it.
Yeah.
Just hated it. And then I read this and now I allocate, now everything goes into one, everything just goes into one main business account,
Mhm.
you know? And then everything's allocated as a business spending.
Yeah.
Well, profit is like the first thing, but whatever your profit margin is, you know,
What
I
is
got-
it called? I don't know. Look that up.
profit first. Yeah, it changed my whole,
Yeah.
yeah, now I know where
I know you said
every,
that, I'm like,
I know where everything goes.
Yeah.
Everything. As a percentage, I have 40%, you know, business.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know 3%. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my home is 7.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's,
Oh.
and so. I mean, I have to pay more if I show more income, so if I
Yeah.
want to finance something,
Right.
then I'll, for 2 years, I'll work, and then I just redo my taxes.
Did they teach you that in the book too?
They, you know, they might, I haven't gotten to that part yet, but
Okay.
they might, but I
Okay,
have
with
I have
it.
a really good accountant. It's one.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. You'll
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
the one thing that I.
You'll love it.
Going out and like,
Mhm.
it's going, but I don't need it work for me at all.
Yeah.
And it's there to go out.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I have 2
It really-
kids and a
It's really
teenage.
just a bummer. Just
Oh, yeah.
Such a thinking horrible.
Yeah.
You know,
You know what's even crazier? My daughter's 17 and she's graduating this year. She drives and stuff and I need to start a cash app transaction. How the hell did I even make that much money to send to you? Like, what's going on here? Like, I gotta get this. You know?
yeah, yeah. So every Friday, we'll have whatever that, you know, made that week, or you could do it once a month or whatever. I do
Yeah.
mine weekly. My business.
Yeah.
I do mine every Friday and everything just goes into one account. And everything's, and I had to kind of work on it. It's like, okay, how much is,
Yeah.
as a percentage do I allocate to this, and this, you know?
Mhm.
And I have, you know, main spending account for business. I have my personal account that I put money in, give myself.
all the time.
I have, like, cause there's always annual
Yeah.
things that come up annually, just,
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't see that.
Those
Like
random
to pay
things.
my account, you know, sometimes you do my taxes, like $800. So my software, that's like $1,500.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, it's always like, oh, yeah, I have to, it's like a struggle.
Right.
And now I have an account where I allocate a certain amount into that so that I know it'll be there.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's good.
Yeah,
I've got to figure all that.
you'll love it.
Thinking
You
about it,
will.
I'm like, I'm so tired.
You will, you know, dude, once you start using it,
Yeah.
like,
Nice. Well, nice to meet you.
You too.
Hey,
Yeah.
see you later.
You know, in sales and everything else.
Yeah, thank you.
You got it.
Thank you.
And I think really. So that'll be nice when you already have it already made, you know? You bet.
Voting on two, deciding on one?
No, but.
Yep.
Don't look yet, hold on.
Okay.
Now you can battle.
Awesome, thank you.